Well, I've been down to Mississippi, down to New Orleans, and I played in California. There ain't too much I haven't seen. Lord, I'm a rambling man. Don't fool around with any old rambling man. Left a girl in West Virginia, up there where that green grass grows. Got a girl in Cincinnati, where the Ohio River flows. Lord, I'm a rambling man. Don't give your heart to any old rambling man. You better move away. You're standing too close to the flame. Once I mess with your mind, your little heart won't be the same. But I'm a rambling man. Don't mess around with any old rambling man. Listen to that this morning on the way, taking my boys to camp. Beat It, Michael Jackson. I was like, that track played. Oh, hey guys, good morning. It's Larry. And I played Beat It for the boys, and they've heard it before, but they were just grooving in the back seat. And after the song was over, I looked back at Marshall. How you like that, buddy? He goes, it's really good. It is really good. It's amazing how low they mixed Eddie's solo in that track, if you think about it. I mean, when I was a kid, I heard it. I thought, man, that's great, Eddie Van Halen solo. But if you listen to it now as a grown-ass man, it's the guitar solo is very low in the mix. It's pretty amazing. I never noticed that when I was a kid. You know, weird. I don't know. Anyway, how's everybody doing out there? Just an early morning Larry session. You know, like the old days. I've got a few things prepared on the court manuscript. Nothing great. Just wanted to say thank you for all the kind comments on the recent videos. You know, having Robert over the house the other night. Mark Lettieri. I didn't take any film of Mark being over here. We were just chilling. But I'd never met him before, and a mutual friend brought him over. He's a nice, really nice dude. We didn't jam or nothing. I just showed him a couple guitars, and he plunked on. Mark Lettieri is not really a vintage guy. He doesn't give a fuck really about vintage stuff. You know, that's cool. I think that's really cool. You know, he just plays what he plays, and that's great. There's no need to get caught up in all this vintage stuff, even though they're the best guitars ever made, ever. There's no reason to get caught up in it. But yeah, he's a sweet dude. So is Robert. You know, Robert really helped me get the channel going in the early days. He reached out and said, "Man, I can help you because I know how to do all the shit you're trying to do." And he was right. I wish him well in his sojourns to Nashville. Some dude named Scott sent this nice note, and he sent this these two old concert programs. This is really cool. I mean, look at this. I mean, come on, dude. Remember concert programs? I mean, fucking hell. When I opened these up, I was like, holy shit, I remember these. I remember the way they smelled and looked. You know? Look at this one, Van Halen in concert. Third album, right? I think. Yeah, third album. Look at this thing. Remember that picture of Eddie with all those? That was in a lot of guitar magazines back when I was a kid. Look at that one guitar that looks like a damn. It reminds me of some child's toy, that like a building block thing. See that one guitar with the weird horn on it? And his jumpsuit. I never had a jumpsuit. Why the hell did I have a jumpsuit? Oh, and also, thanks for all the kind comments about the old Winona videos. See, that's what I was doing back when he was doing this. Eddie was doing this. You know, in that one video, Old Enough to Know Better from the Letterman Show, 1996 or whatever, I was plunking on an old Chopper Les Paul Jr. that I used to have back in the day. I barely remember that guitar, but it was like a Pelham blue, horrible refinish. I've had some really great old choppers over the years. A lot of Les Paul Jr. choppers and Melody Makers and things like that. That Epiphone Coronet I just got recently, I showed you in yesterday's video from the session. That guitar, that's probably I have to say, that's the best chopper I've ever had. Total chop. But man, it's fucking amazing. I pulled that thing out in the session yesterday. I was working with Dan Huff, doing that again today. First couple notes I played on it, he was like, man, that's a cool guitar. And then I tried to play some other guitar, and he goes, nah, man, go back to that other guitar. And I was like, man, this thing's got some vibe, man. It's got those old mini humbuckers. And it weighs 5.4 pounds. It's amazing. And it feels like it's about to fall apart in your hands because it's so delicate, yet it's really solid and it won't go out of tune. What a cool guitar. Oh, speaking of cool guitars, here's that 64 Lake Placid Blue Jaguar that I've had for a while. It's got the mutes. Remember the mutes? Dig it. Here. What did I just do? What have I done? Oh, the cord came out. You really get them cranking. But the thing about cranking the mutes on is that the strings just go sharp. But it's a cool sound. Really cool sound when you don't have to listen to my caterwauling singing over it. I mean, if you were working for a producer that wasn't real picky about tuning, you could do something like this. It'd be cool. Or you could probably just tune, retune the guitar to match whatever is happening. But the thing about mutes that you'll always find, unless you make them custom yourself, is that some strings are too muted and others aren't muted enough. I just came up with a great idea. You just saw it happen in my brain. Dude. Oh shit. Okay, a guitar with mutes where each mute was adjustable individually. Dude, that would be sick. Damn, that'd be a great idea. Okay, who do I know that could do something like that? Don't take that idea. That's my idea. See, the E string, B or 2 muted, and then that's not muted enough. You remember this guy? Ron Racing, one of the viewers of the show, gave me some cool old cards. You guys remember Hewart Dixon? Going way back to the old 60s Raiders. He was a bad boy. It's pretty obscure. Some of the people that watch the show from other countries, they say things like, Tom, I love when you show pictures of old American football players. They just think that's funny. I don't know why. I think it's cool. The Germans get a kick out of that for some reason. They like the old American football cards. Well, hell, so do I. Let's see. Anyway, thanks for the gifts, the cool concert programs. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, day 2 today of sessions for this guy, Cam Marlowe. Man, he's a fucking great singer, this dude. I know you guys aren't into the modern country and shit. I know, I get it. But this boy can sing. Lord, I mean, even Dan Huff was like, damn, can you believe this dude? He's like a one-take singer. There's not a lot of one-take singers out there in this world. He reminds me, his voice reminds me of a guy I used to work with a long time ago named James Otto. You guys ever heard of James Otto? He had a couple hits. James is an absolute mountain of a man. The first time I ever met him, I was like, Jesus, dude. He's like 6'6", 320 or something like that. Just fucking huge. And he's got his voice like, I had never been in a room with somebody acoustically that had a louder voice than James Otto. First time I ever played with him. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that anybody's voice could project that loudly in a room. He's still around. I see him once in a while. He's a sweet dude, old friend, and he's into vintage guitars. He just bought an old Martin, and he was sending me pictures of it. Everybody comes around to the vintage guitars eventually. You know, buying an old Gibson acoustic is a rite of passage for most Nashville songwriters. I've noticed that over the years. A songwriter will come to Nashville, you know, work their ass off trying to get something going, finally get a couple hits, and then they call Uncle Larry and say, Larry, I hear you're the guy to talk to. I'm looking for a cool old Gibson acoustic. It's a rite of passage. And I find it for them. I always do. I'll find them a nice Gibson acoustic. They like the ones that are real beat up looking. There's songs in here, man. That's what they always say. This one's got songs in it. You guys believe that songs, their guitars have songs in them? I mean, I think there's something to that. You know, like more so than anything, I think certain guitars just have such personality that they just make it play a certain way. You know, like this guitar. You know, you're not going to use this as your everyday driver, but when you pick this thing up, it's going to make you do something you probably haven't done in a while, you know? Like, take care of the yard or clean the house. No, just kidding. Let's look at some VCB shit. Oh, you know what? I was doing a little looking at, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube, guys. I'm not going to lie. I don't really watch television. And I watch a lot of YouTube, and I got to tell you, man, I don't know how y'all do it. I mean, I watch some of these other guitar channels, and I'm not trying to compare myself or anything or be a dick, but there are some other guitar channels out there. I'm not going to name any names, you know, where people are talking about guitar, and they are such numbskulls. I don't know how you guys watch it. I mean, nice folks, I suppose, but they just don't know shit about guitars. And they're trying to teach everybody else about guitars. It's like, man, it'd be like me starting a channel where I talk about what it's like to catch a touchdown in a real NFL game. I've never done it. I'll never do it, but I'm going to start a channel talking about what it's like. That's what it reminds me of. It's crazy. I mean, and then you got people like, I see some of these dudes, like young dudes, don't know shit about guitars. And they're slagging vintage guitars. Like, say, yeah, you know, I've never played a good one. It's like, yeah, right. How many of you played 3 in your life? It just kills me, man. It's like, know what the fuck you're talking about before you start talking about it. That's really all I ask of anybody. I mean, I don't go around talking about shit I don't know anything about. I mean, there's very few things in this life that I know anything about. And I'm the first to admit that. Guitars is one of them. I know a little bit about human nature. That's about it. I think that's pretty much all I could speak confidently on. I know a little bit about having kids, I suppose, what that's like. But I ain't gonna start a YouTube channel talking about it. So just learn what the fuck you're talking about before you start talking about it on YouTube, okay? That's really all I ask anybody. Numbskulls, man. Okay, let's see. What else we got? Oh, let me look at this one video, see if there's any VCB worth mentioning. I'm gonna take you back to the, which one here? Strat Tuesday. I don't know why. I'll just pick this one. Did you get it? Strat Tuesday, Fat Tuesday. You guys get it? Did anybody get that joke? Let's see. Oh, here's one. Uncle Larry, longtime watcher, first-time commenter, and fellow son of Cleveland, my man. Really been a pleasure watching your videos over the last few years for many reasons, one of which is getting to see a Clevelander at the top of the world's proverbial stage, tearing up guitar harder than a Euclid Avenue pothole on my rusty old beater. Would love to hear some of your stories of the legendary Cleveland venues like the Agora. Peace and blessings to you and yours, fans up in the NEO. Yeah, man, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, God, so many memories of playing those old clubs in Cleveland. We had this band called Catch 22, and we played nothing but top 40 of the day. And yes, we all wore spandex, makeup, crazy 80s hair metal outfits, glam. And man, there was no shortage of women at those gigs. Let me just tell you this. And we would play all these local clubs, playing Guns N' Roses and Poison and shit. Yes, I did that. I had to make money somehow. That was right when I was about 18 years old, okay? And missed a lot of senior year of my school. I remember playing those crazy gigs. I went half deaf playing in those clubs too. I think I did most of my hearing damage in those early days, which is really sad. My biggest regret, honestly. Where are your like when you're playing those crazy clubs, kids, and loud ass venues like that, put some shit in your ears, man, for God's sake. Don't do what I did. I'm probably at that point where I probably should get some hearing aids. I've noticed, like when I went to this restaurant the other day, this breakfast place in Belmead, and I'm sitting at the counter, by myself at the bar, eating some breakfast, and this sweet girl behind the counter, she walks over, she's like, "How is it?" I'm just sitting there. She said, "How is it?" Oh, I didn't even know she was talking to me. She was standing right there. I'm like, that's how deaf I am. But that's what happens when you play guitar your whole fucking life. And loud, man, and headphones and blasting music, I'm actually surprised I can still hear as good as I do at this age, honestly. But man, anyway, one memory I have of playing this crazy old club. You know how, I probably talked about this on an old episode, but I want to say it again because it was a funny story. You know how compliments are always really funny to me. I don't really do well with people complimenting me. I never have. It's like I appreciate it, but I don't really know how to put it. I don't know where to put it in my brain. If somebody says something nice. But I've always noticed that the most meaningful compliments I've ever gotten in my life are from people that don't ever give compliments. If people walk around telling you how great they are all the time, you don't even listen to it. It's like my kids. I've told them I love them so many times that they don't even notice it. I mean, 200 times a day. I love you. I love you. They're like, it's like, what? They're like, they don't even notice it. So, people will say things. If they compliment you too much, it's just like, it just goes in one ear, not the other. It's nice and everything, and I appreciate it. But a compliment from someone who never gives compliments is so much more meaningful. I remember one time we were playing in a club in Akron called the Akron Agora, and there was this house sound guy, and he was the typical amalgamation of the crusty house sound guy that you find in clubs. He hated everybody, everything. I don't remember the guy's name, but if you were going to ask him something, you watch out because he might tear your face off. He would set you up, put the mics up, put the music. How many mics do you need? And you'd be like, well, we got 2 singers and 1 mic. Well, you said 3 last time. And it's like, that kind of shit. So we were scared of this guy. He was nasty, man. He was mean, but he was a good sound man. But boy, he was mean as hell, and he treated the bands like shit. And I remember I was scared of the guy. And I remember one time we were tearing up the gear. We were tearing down the gear after a gig, and he walked over to me and he goes, "If anybody ever tells you can't play guitar, you tell them to fuck off." That's what he said. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? From him, that was a big deal. And man, that's when I knew I was onto something with this whole guitar thing. Let's see. You ever get a comment like that from somebody? You're just like, those are the ones that mean a lot, you know? And also any compliment from somebody that you feel is way above you on the food chain of any kind, you know? Those are always good. Let's see. A lot of people really weighed in on this Strat video saying that the 62 sounded the best. Well, actually, there was votes for all three of them, to be honest. That was kind of fun hearing all those different Strats, wasn't it? Let's see. What else we got here? Don't steal my mute idea. Come on, man. That was my idea. It's a killer idea. That's a damn good idea. I'll bet somebody's probably done something like that already, but who knows? One guy said, "It's really weird when you stand up in any of your videos." Yeah, I know. It probably looks really weird when you're watching the camera and then I get up to move something or get a guitar or something. That's hilarious. On every Strat I own, I mod the second tone control for the bridge pickup. Middle pickup gets no tone control. And the bridge pickup gets a reverse angle, which makes all the difference in evening out the pickup's tone. Yeah, you know, I don't really care about that type of shit. On a Strat, I'll do like, I just leave the stock wiring, but I always just put a tone control on the bridge pickup. So that bottom tone control is, you probably could get by with a master tone and a master volume on a Strat. Master tone for all three pickups. But you know what I do like to do sometimes? The only reason I wouldn't like that, because sometimes I like to turn the tone all the way down on the neck pickup and leave the tone all the way up on the bridge pickup, and then use the switch to go, and you get that massive like univibe effect where you go back and forth between the dark and the bright sound. It's really cool sound. I do that a lot actually on sessions. So you couldn't do that with a master tone, but you know, if that didn't bother you, you could get by with that. I agree. The Strat is still, to me, the most radical and practical and comfortable guitar shape. I wouldn't argue, man. The Fender Stratocaster is probably the most, would you say, ergonomic guitar ever designed. I mean, you couldn't make it more comfortable. This is pretty comfortable. Got the belly cuts and the same thing, you know. But you know, did you realize that the Fender Jaguar was actually? I always thought the Jazzmaster was the most expensive guitar on the Fender price list, but it was actually the Jaguar. This was more dough than a Jazzmaster, Strat, or Tele on like any Fender price list from 1964. Do you believe that? All right, I'm gonna let go now because this video is getting too long. It's gonna take forever to upload. Peace out, y'all. Have a great day. Talk to you later.